Well, guys, the War Games matches are set. We have our 5-on-5s ready to go for both the men and the women for Survivor Series, which is coming to you guys in 1 week from today. Welcome to the 716 Sports Entertainment Podcast, episode number 65, where we are breaking down Friday Night SmackDown from November the 21st. As always, I'm your host, Mike, joined by Mr. Sean O'Neill. And Sean, how are we feeling about that women's War Games match that we both kind of partially got right there with Becky Lynch joining the women's team and AJ Lee joining the face team?
Oh no, don't cut yourself short. You 100% got that right, and you
I
deserve
said
all your
Maxine
credit for
was
that.
I said Maxine was going to jump in there too, but I was
No, but
half
then
right. I
once
was
we
half right.
once we decided that it only needed to be one person, that you got it right. I'll give you your credit, especially when I overtake you at Survivor Series for the lead in points. Got to give you credit where it's due.
You have
But
to get I'm gonna have to get every match wrong. Good luck, buddy.
um, I think that I'm I'm happy that there was still a little bit of intrigue this close to the PLE coming up. Normally by now, like all the teams are all completely set and you have everything going. So I really like that they did a couple segments about the women's team in particular. And now it's to the point where I have to imagine on Raw is when they're going to have their matches to determine who comes out first. Because I feel like waiting to do that on SmackDown is just waiting too long. You know what I mean?
They'll probably do one on each show, I would
You think
imagine.
so?
I know SmackDown is going to have that traditional Survivor Series match next week, but that won't be the only thing that they do. They'll have to have some kind of women's thing. So since you've got most of your women's stars locked up, you will have some kind of. I imagine they'll probably do the women's one on SmackDown.
The I have to imagine that traditional one's going to probably take up at least an hour of the
Oh, no
show.
doubt, no doubt. And for our audience, it is Sami Zayn, the Motor City Machine Guns, Shinsuke Nakamura, and who's the fifth?
Phoenix.
Ray Phoenix versus the MFTs and Solo Sikoa, who
In,
will
in
likely not be winning the John Cena Never Say Never, Never Say Die 17th time world champion best tournament to crown the all-time best 17 never seen tournament.
that traditional tag match 100% feels like the way you like to describe things lately of throw it to the wall and see what sticks. That Sami Zayn team feels like the epitome of that
Does.
like
It
type of
really
thing. And
does.
especially once we end up talking about their promo later on. It was just goofy.
Yeah.
But no, I'm excited.
Yeah, I think it's the smart thing to do. I think AJ Lee coming back last Monday to to get herself quasi involved back with Becky Lynch again puts that storyline right back to the forefront because they're gonna have their match eventually. I don't know when that is going to be, but they are likely going to have their singles match, and it might even be after Becky wins the IC title back from Maxine, which could very well happen. So I'm kind of pleased with that. And, she's a big star, and we've talked about this at length. That show is really just trying to pull out all the stops for the star power. So it makes sense putting Becky on the heel team, and it makes sense putting AJ Lee on the face team.
Oh, 100%. If you are basically trying to fill the void that a non-US based Survivor Series is leaving, they need to pull out all the stops for this show. Or not Survivor Series, Royal Rumble, a non-US based Royal Rumble. And you can see it just with the amount of star power they're bringing into this with Lesnar and the Cena stuff. And I'm actually I'm wondering, are they going to do the finals for the Cena match or some sort of part of the tournament at Survivor Series?
I mean, they should, right? Like, and it's a good segue because, for what we were going to talk about before we get on here. So Sheamus is injured, right? So we're going to be seeing something is going to happen. Either they'll put somebody in or they'll have everybody who lost gets a chance to come back and have one more crack at whoever is on the other side there. So we have left because we had a couple of matches on this show as well, and we'll talk about those in a minute. But on the Raw side, we had Sheamus left. We had Rusev left. LA Knight is left. Solo Sikoa is left, and Gunther won, and I think that's it, right?
I think so.
Yeah, because then they had the two that won on SmackDown today. Spoilers, it was Penta and it was
Hello.
who was the other? Mello, yeah. So, but then they would probably have to have one of those guys cross over. I would imagine if there's six left, right?
So no, they've sort of been having so next week's shows are weird. Like they're doing somebody who won on SmackDown versus somebody who won on Raw. So like we're getting Solo Sikoa versus Penta.
Right, because you have three. You have three from
Right.
SmackDown and three from Raw, right? Or no, do you have
But
four?
yeah, because Sheamus going down.
Right, okay, yes. You see you have four from each show. Yeah, that makes
Yeah.
sense. Okay.
I
Okay.
think you mentioned it when we were just talking off screen here about Joe Hendry, and I was just thinking about it. They did a promo. I don't think it was on NXT. I think they just filmed it for like one of their reels where
Hmm.
a cameraman caught him talking to somebody in like the stairwell on the phone, saying that it doesn't matter where you say his name, NXT, the main roster, any show, you say his name and he'll appear. I'm
Hmm.
wondering if that's what, if this, I'm wondering if this was planned all along, if Sheamus isn't actually injured.
You think?
I wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah, I mean, I could certainly see it. I mean, it's a good way to like keep him get him exposed a little bit more to the main roster, I guess. I mean, I don't know. He's been Let me take that back because he was at the Royal Rumble, he was at WrestleMania, so I think like everybody's kind of got a good bead on Joe Hendry a little bit, I think, and they kind of like know what he's all about. So I would agree with that. I think to kind of just like re is it right to say to reintroduce him to the audience?
The main
Is
roster, yeah.
Yeah, because I think that I mean I don't know. He's not. Is he going to spend any time in NXT?
Yeah, he already is.
No, I meant like once he's fully over to WWE. Like, is he going to
I mean,
spend any time in NXT?
he might for a little while. He's been working with Thea Hale down there. So he might do a little bit of work with her because she's been trying to be molded into a female version of Joe Hendry. And so they've been teaming against Ethan Page and Chelsea Green. So I mean that could transition to the main roster too.
Yeah, that's true because they've been using Chelsea Green in both spots. So I guess that makes sense. Ooh, excuse me.
But
Yeah.
it'll definitely be interesting to see what happens on Monday for the replacement for Sheamus. And if he is actually hurt, hopefully it's not anything major considering where he's at in his career.
Yeah, I mean, definitely with that because, yeah, you're right. Dude doesn't have a lot of time. I mean, he was able to do that match on Raw and he seemed fine after it was over. So,
Which is why I was thinking maybe this is just storyline related.
yeah, yeah, I would think so. But I mean, you never know, right? Like, you never know when like, what kind of injuries these guys pick up after the fact. So,
Yep.
yeah, and then as far as the rest of the stuff surrounding the women's team as well, Charlotte Flair and Rhea Ripley did have a backstage, relatively long backstage segment where they just kind of attempted to hash out their differences. I don't know if I loved this. I mean, it didn't really completely solve the problems, but I don't know. What did you think?
I like that it added more to the storyline of everything. Because like I said, when we were first started talking about this, most of these war games matches are pretty just set and go. You know what I mean? Like, oh, here's our team. We're just all teamed together to do this. This leans into the fact that Charlotte and Rio have legitimate beef with each other for reasons in WWE. I don't mean like necessarily outside of storyline beef, but storyline beef. And I personally I think it adds just enough to the story that I still don't necessarily see them getting along perfectly in the match itself. And I think that could actually play into the match too.
Yeah, I mean, it's certainly going to play into the match, but I guess just this, I mean, I guess this segment was fine and you needed to do it. And I guess anytime you will have an instance of, a how will they coexist kind of match, which I am not a fan of at all.
Right.
Like, when they have those, I can't stand those how will they coexist matches. Like I hate them so much. So I am kind of glad that they didn't do that, like just force them to team up. So I guess this was fine, like in a grand scheme of things. And it helped, you're right, it did help further the story a little bit. And I imagine eventually we may see another match between these two.
And mommy sitting backstage with her little girlfriend Io,
Yeah, they're like totes besties now.
like sitting there, arm around her and everything. Like I was like, okay.
It's just that's interesting. Um, so then we had the Ilya Dragunov again with the US Open Challenge, defeating JD McDonagh via pinfall with an H bomb to retain the title. This was a great match. I mean, no surprise there. I know you've been saying it for a while, but I got to give props to JD McDonagh. Dude can really go in the ring, and I think, I mean, if ever, Finn Balor is like the de facto best best wrestler in the Judgment Day, but JD is no slouch at all. And he's leagues above Dominic Mysterio as far as like in-ring ability, and I think he's absolutely great, and I don't think he often gets the credit that he deserves.
Well, when you consider that he was trained by Finn Balor, I would hope so.
Mhm.
And other than the fact that he's the human version of a Funko Pop, JD McDonagh has really good skills in the ring. And him and Ilya almost it felt like they were drawing a little bit on their NXT UK kind of rivalry too in this match, and it was hard hitting. There were a couple points where I thought they were dead, like when they both went over. He went to suplex. I think it was McDonagh went to suplex Dragunov over the rope, and they both went out of the ring. That was nasty as hell looking. But
Yeah.
as usual, Ilya Dragunov produces the best match on Raw or on SmackDown. And there was actually some competition this week, but as I'm okay with this being like we've talked about every single week. SmackDown should have
Mhm.
an open challenge and a tag team match. And hey, guess what? They
And
did
we got both.
SmackDown correct. They did SmackDown correctly this week.
Yeah, yeah, and it's perfect segue into DIY defeating Fraxium via pinfall. Candice LeRae came out towards the end of the match to yank off Axiom's mask, allowing Gargano to roll him up as Axiom, covered his face. And kudos to the camera people for like, I'm sure the people who were there saw what was going on, but
Yeah.
kudos to the camera people from kind of like keeping it away, sort of on purpose. But again, it's a very simple recipe to make SmackDown a good show. US Open Challenge, a match between one of your awesome tag teams. And you're going to
Yep.
start to have to do that more as SmackDown adds another hour, right?
Yep.
Like there's you have a whole hour of SmackDown that you could do every week having just one US Open Challenge and one awesome tag team match. You get a
Yep.
whole hour out of that. Easy, you know? So, I mean, keep doing this WWE because it's excellent.
So real quick too, that's a good point with the 3 hour thing. The other thing with that is they're going to have to move people around roster wise
Oh,
if
no
they're
doubt.
moving,
No doubt.
if they're going to go to 3 hours, because the roster they currently have on SmackDown isn't going to be able to carry a 3 hour show. So maybe for the love of God, we'll finally see a not necessarily a draft, but some sort of shakeup. And it would be for the benefit, I think, of all of WWE for that to happen.
So, we've been saying this for a while about the draft, and I don't think they're going to do it.
That's why I
I,
said a superstar shakeup. Something.
yeah, I don't even know. I think people are just going to start to randomly show up on both shows. I don't know if they're ever going to do like a formal draft like ever again. And I know they're doing the ESPN thing now, and like it's a good opportunity to do one because you could get like Stephen A. Smith or something like that to,
Yeah.
to be out there for it or something stupid like that. But I just don't see it happening. I did see that he was on. I was watching his show. I had it on in the background the other day while I was working. It was like 10 o'clock in the morning, and Dominic Mysterio's ugly
Yep.
face was on his show talking about how he was the AAA champion and how he was going to have a match with John Cena. I thought it was hysterical. But anyway, I digress.
I guarantee you that WWE is not going to miss that opportunity. At some point, they are going to do an ESPN style draft. Might not be this year, but at some point while they're under this contract, it's too big of a gimmick opportunity for them to pass up.
Yeah. No, you're probably right. Probably right. So as we mentioned, we had two of the Never Seen 17. Last time is now Ultimate Tournament to crown the world champion of the John Cena Never Seen Never match of the all-time Never Say Never. Last time is now tournament.
Is there a belt with
The
that?
Yeah, the first one was Penta defeating Finn Balor via pinfall with the Mexican Destroyer. I missed most of this match, so I'll actually let you talk about it. I heard you say that it was a little botchy, so but yeah,
It
you take it away.
wasn't even that it was botchy. The match itself was good, which is to be expected out of these two. They're two world class wrestlers. And I just something about the end of it just felt kind of off. I don't know if it was just the exact way that the final segment went down, but
Mhm.
when he Mexican destroyed Finn Balor there, like I know he occasionally hits it out of nowhere. Just something about it felt off to me. Like it, I don't know if there was something going on with Finn or what it was. I'm glad Penta won. I think that's the right choice
I agree.
because obviously you want more promotion of him over Finn really doesn't need it. But I mean, we already got it announced. He's going to be facing Solo in the next round.
Hmm.
They have to have him go over Solo, right?
Yeah, probably because maybe you like do something where his brother gets involved, right? Because, it's gonna be his brother's involved in the match against Solo in that 5-on-5, so
Yeah.
maybe like we tease something with him and his brother, like, together on screen together for the first time.
Okay, because yeah, the Solo Penta match, from what I understand, is on Raw. So I guess you could have them tease that before the SmackDown event. And you know what?
Yeah.
I would be perfectly fine with that. I think any sort of tease of the Lucha Brothers is well worth it. And if it means us getting Phoenix in something besides a random 5-person promo where he gives his promo entirely in Spanish for some reason.
Mhm. Yeah, no, I agree. And I honestly think that's probably what will happen. I got to imagine as well, because they'll probably do the men's match on SmackDown as well, and we'll talk about that in a second. But yeah, that seems very likely that, we'll probably get some of that as well. And Solo and the MFTs, as we mentioned, they're having their traditional Survivor Series match, so
Yeah.
it makes sense that Solo will likely not win.
Solo doesn't
But then,
need to win
but the,
either.
but there needs to be like bullshit interference.
Oh,
But
100%.
it does make me think that Solo not winning the tournament means that Solo's group probably wins that traditional 5-on-5.
I think that is probably who needs to win it anyway. I
Yeah.
mean, you're pushing Solo's group to be this monster faction, and that's going to be going up against the Wyatts, and
Well,
probably
and
going to
and
be
that that's
taking.
how it will end after Solo's group wins is the
Yeah,
Wyatts will appear. Like the Wyatts are absolutely going to appear in some way, shape, or form during or after this match.
I mean, I guess I could see the Wyatts costing them the match too. I just,
Well, that's why I said during. Like if the
yeah,
Wyatts appear during, they could cost them. But if they win, the Wyatts appear after.
I don't. My only problem with the match for next Friday is I don't want to see Phoenix get buried again, and I could see because it's going to be if it comes down to it, it's going to be Sammy as the last man left in on the heel team or face team. I mean, and
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm worried that they're going to do Phoenix dirty for some reason, like they have been,
Well, because they have been. Yeah, they've been doing it a lot, and it's friggin' annoying.
and we can't figure out why. Because the guy puts on amazing matches every time he's out there.
I
Like
don't know. I don't know.
honestly, if I could see WWE going the route of because they have such a hard on for Sammy that watch everybody get eliminated except for Sammy from the face team, and Sammy have to fight his way back.
And he will. So gross.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Um, yeah.
There's more negative endings to that match in my head than there are positive endings.
Yeah, I think the heels just need to win. Like, I
Yeah.
mean, you honestly, the best thing you could do would probably have Phoenix be the last one to go down.
I would be, that is the one really good ending that I'd have for it is you have
Yeah,
the heels win and Phoenix be the last one pinned.
yeah. I think that could be okay. I mean, I don't know. I feel like the MFTs need to win if they're going to go up against the Wyatts later, right? Because like you can't have them lose and then go up against the Wyatts and lose again, unless
Yeah.
the Wyatts cost them.
Right.
But yeah, I don't know. It's I guess we'll just kind of have to see how it goes. A bit earlier in the show, we did have Drew McIntyre attack Cody Rhodes on his bus, and you kind of just saw Cody like kind of fall down the steps a little bit with a busted open face, which was a little goofy the way that it happened. But this led into the match between Carmelo Hayes and Bronson Reed, which got going for a little bit and it was fine. But then everybody, made their way into the ring to help Bronson Reed, which caused the Usos to come out to beat Logan Paul and Braun Breaker away, which led eventually led Cody out as well to cut one of the best Cody Rhodes promos in a long, long time, and it really helped, I think, with the audience that was kind of like, why the hell is Cody here? Because there have been some internet goons that were like, oh, Cody doesn't need to be in this, and Cody kind of tied it all together with that promo, where he was like, he obviously called out his thing with Drew McIntyre saying, I'm not done with you yet, obviously, because you can't be done with me. And he took a shot at Bronson Reed, basically saying like, you're probably the best guy in this whole group, which I thought was interesting of him to say. Then making a comment about how a Steiner is never better than a Rhodes, which I absolutely loved, and then making fun of Logan Paul for just being a douchebag goon, and stating that he was the last person to beat Brock Lesnar, not once but twice, and then ultimately taking a shot at Heyman, which was probably the best line of the whole thing, where he was like, I've seen that WrestleMania poster and I've seen everybody you've aligned yourself with, and every person that you've aligned yourself with, you build them up and I tear them down. And I thought that was a
Yep.
great line because it kind of puts a little bit of heat between him and Roman, and a little bit of heat between him and Punk too,
Yep.
which I think is super interesting, so excellent promo by Cody. And I really think it helped to further build up, this men's War Games match.
I'm not gonna lie too. I'm glad that this was the only match in the last time is now is forever John Cena tournament that had any interference really in it. None of the other matches had any interference. And that is this was the perfect one to leave that for because it was
Mhm.
able to be utilized for the overall world building of WWE. And I gotta say, I really enjoyed before this match Nick Aldis getting in Heyman's face about everything. That was I like that he has a little bit more of a spine than Adam Pearce does. But
Adam Pearce just takes it. That poor guy.
yeah, yeah, which is too bad because I like both of them. They were both fantastic wrestlers. But I'm glad that Carmelo Hayes advanced. I think that it's partially due to the fact that Cena is incredibly high on the kid, and I think he deserves more opportunities than he gets.
So hear me out on this. What do you think about Carmelo Hayes winning the whole thing?
I think it would be awesome. I think it would be a huge push,
Like,
like
say he
a
say
huge
he makes
rub,
it to the say he makes it to the finals and beats Gunther, and then he
huge
beats
rub.
John Cena. Could that save him? Could that
I
save
think
that
so,
character?
100%. You then become not only the guy who retired John Cena, but you beat Gunther, who
Because like
um,
like we're ready to say Gunther's going to make it all the way to the finals, even if he doesn't win, Gunther's going to the finals, right?
Yeah.
Like Gunther's the favorite to win the whole thing right now, and it's probably the safe choice. But Gunther's what, 39?
And Gunther doesn't need the
He doesn't
rub.
need it. He doesn't need it.
And like I said,
Carmelo
just
Hayes is how old is Carmelo Hayes? Like 26?
yeah.
Yeah.
And like I said, not only the rub of saying you retired John Cena, but the fact that you then become one of like six people who have beaten Gunther.
Yeah, and I mean you immediately can put him into the title picture after that.
Yep.
Immediately. Like he could go right after CM Punk, right after. I mean, I know, or even into a feud with Cody, like
Yep.
right away, you
And
know?
with his ego, that is 100% the route I would take it. I'd be
Yep.
like, I won this tournament. I retired Cena. I deserve to be a contender.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
honestly, that's when I call up Trick Williams to help him.
Yeah, you have him go into the Royal Rumble, make it down to like the last two or three, and have Trick Williams like help him win the Royal Rumble
Yep.
or something like that. Yeah, I love it. I think that's a great idea. I don't think they're gonna do this, but I think that that would be a really awesome idea.
I think if John Cena is as committed to making future stars as he claims he is with this whole the final Saturday night main event that he was talking about, I mean, hell, you made a comment in response to one of our viewers about the future stars and how sad it is that we could, within the next couple of years, we could lose the entire top of WWE.
Hmm. In 4 years, almost the entire top of WWE will be gone. Lesnar will
Yep.
be gone, Roman will be gone, Cody will be gone, Punk will be gone, Cena will be gone, Seth Rollins will probably be gone.
Yep.
Yeah,
This
and
this landscape will
AJ Styles will be gone, Rey Mysterio will be gone in the next 4 to 5 years. Almost all of these guys will be gone.
the
5 years for
landscape will look
sure.
completely different.
Yeah. Becky will be gone. Charlotte will be gone. Yeah.
Yep.
You need new stars. And I think like doing this thing with Maxine was a good thing. You know, making Ilya Dragunov look like $1 million is a good thing, you know.
Oh
Building
yeah.
up Bronson Reed is a good thing.
What they're doing with Braun.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, Braun is a good thing. Making Penta look like a star is a good thing. I mean, these guys are young, you know, like you got to be putting these young people over.
You need to have an eye on the future at all times.
Yeah. Yeah, so that was SmackDown. It was a solid show. It wasn't bad. It wasn't the best SmackDown ever. Definitely helped further the Survivor Series. I really would like one more match at Survivor Series. I think what do we have right now? Four matches at Survivor Series.
What do
So,
we
you know,
have?
I would like one at least one more match added to the Survivor Series show. But
What's
I
the
don't know.
fourth?
What are you thinking?
We have the two WarGames matches. We have the IC title for sure. What's the fourth match?
Stephanie Becker versus Nikki Bella.
Okay, so yeah, no, with that as the fourth match, they definitely need, honestly, I think I'd like two more, especially with it being a big stadium show. I think you
Mhm.
need to have a little bit more than normal. Um, I would say a US Open challenge, like a big one, maybe bring in somebody from outside WWE to take it,
Mhm.
and then like from TNA or something, because they can have all these people that show up whenever, and maybe one of the matches for the Cena tournament, or if you get down to the point where it's the semifinals, right? Semifinals is when there's four people left, so it'd be two matches, and
Mhm.
then you get your finals. Maybe do the two semifinal matches at the PLE.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, either that or the finals match would be fine. US, I don't think they're going to do a US Open challenge on the show because they'll probably do one on the SmackDown beforehand, I would imagine.
Yeah,
Um, and I doubt they'll do
I
anything with
mean,
the tag. That they won't do anything with the tag team titles, obviously. So because they don't give a shit about the tag team titles.
the nice thing is that WWE is never going to do like I believe there's an AEW show either tonight. I think it's tonight that has like 47 matches on it. And thankfully, WWE doesn't do that because I know you and I have gone and we have some friends who are AEW supermarks, and they, it's just that's just too much. Like there don't need to be that many matches on a pay-per-view.
Oh, that is tonight. AEW Full Gear. Um, yeah, I didn't even like realize that.
Yeah.
There's yeah, there are a lot of matches on that AEW
Oh
Full
yeah.
Gear. We should
And
yeah, we should talk about that at some point.
we could do a state of AEW tomorrow
Oh,
after the winners,
Lord have mercy. How many matches are on that show? One, two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight, nine matches on that show.
and like
What's
four on the pre-show.
is Hangman Page still the champion?
He is.
Yeah. He's
He's facing
defending
Samoa Joe.
Samoa Joe, Chris Statlander. Oh, they're gonna put the title on Mercedes Money tonight, I bet.
I hope not.
$1 million. What is the $1 million match? Kenny Omega, Jurassic Express versus Josh Alexander, the Young Bucks.
Yeah, the
Don't.
Young Bucks. The last I haven't watched AEW in a couple of weeks, but the last thing I knew is that the Young Bucks were trying to make money back after losing their jobs.
Bobby Lashley versus Shelton Benjamin. They broke them up.
No, it's a gauntlet match, and they drew the first two spots in the gauntlet match. It's for the new title that AEW is debuting,
Gotcha. Moxley versus Kyle O'Reilly. Pac versus Darby Allin will be a good match.
and it's a normal style match, which will be interesting.
Yeah, interesting. Yeah,
Yeah,
maybe I'll watch that tonight. I don't know.
well, I'm going to
Um,
keep an eye on it, and if we want to talk about it, we can do a show tomorrow talking about the results.
yeah. Well, that was SmackDown. So what is your final rating for the show?
I actually normally my SmackDown ratings lately have been two or lower. I think this one gets a three. I think that it was good matches, good story, and the lead up to WarGames is in full swing. Hopefully, the go home show is just as good. So I give it a three, maybe 3.5 out of five.
Yeah, I would agree. I mean, I still think Raw is the better show, and I just maybe it's because I'm so tired and old. And I just don't make it at the end of the week, and I often find myself in bed pretty early on Friday nights, which is so sad and pathetic. But that is neither here nor there. So I don't often make it to the end of SmackDown, is my point. But this was a fine show. I loved Cody's promo. That was probably the best part of the show for me. So I would say my final rating is a Logan Paul's drone out of five. So that is our show, guys. Thank you so much for joining us. Look forward to some of our football podcasts that are going to be coming up, as well as picks, which we'll have for you guys. Probably we'll get those out on Black Friday, I would imagine. And we will. Will I be able to maintain my 4 point lead on Sean? Probably. And my 2 point lead on Mr. T. Reese, maybe not, but we will certainly see how that goes. So, as always, thank you guys so much for joining us. Have yourselves a fantastic day and take care.